This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Jamie Glazov Moment. Tonight, part 2 of 9 Steps to Counter Jihad. This is a 3-part series that I'm doing. If you missed the first part, in which I discuss steps 1 to 3, just go to our previous episode of the Jamie Glazov Moment and watch 9 Steps to Counter Jihad. Steps 1 to 3. Tonight, part 2, steps 4 to 6. And these are alternative strategies that will turn this catastrophic situation around in America's favor. For those of you that are interested, this whole theme is based on my article at Breitbart, 9 Steps to Successfully Counter Jihad. So tonight I'm going to be discussing steps 4 to 6 on what we need to be doing, because the Obama administration, as I have emphasized and this show has emphasized, is a catastrophe. A heads up, in terms of steps 4 to 6 in this whole series, I've synthesized many of these ideas from 3 very important works by 3 very important authors: Robert Spencer, Stephen Coughlin, and Sebastian Gorka. In terms of Robert Spencer, all of his works crucial. His new book out, The Complete Infidel's Guide to Iran, get it? Stephen Coughlin's book, Catastrophic Failure, a must-read. Many of the ideas I'm discussing are taken from his wonderful and brave work. And Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War by Sebastian Gorka, that offers many of these very productive and effective strategies that we need to start implementing. So, step number 4, we need to implement a concrete counter-jihad strategy. We throw the countering violent extremism garbage into the trash where it belongs, and we need to do this. We need to specifically register that jihadists are the enemies and that Islamic law is what motivates them. Most importantly, as Sebastian Gorka urges in his book, Defeating Jihad, the government needs to lay down a vision, an actual threat doctrine analysis in a thorough document. And so, as Gorka points out, like George Kennan's long telegram, the NSC 68 document, these documents laid down the strategic foundation to fighting communism in the Cold War. And that fight succeeded. Where is our document in this terror war? We don't even have a document like George Kennan's long telegram, like NSC 68. We don't have anything like that. This is bizarre. It's destructive. It's suicidal. It means the left is in control. We need to lay down a vision. We need to have a document that actually labels the enemy, spells out who he is, what he wants, and then how we can defeat him. Step number 5, launch our own counter-propaganda campaign. Now, our enemies engage in propaganda 24/7. The Obama administration, how much does it engage in propaganda against our enemies? 0. So we need to start engaging in our own propaganda. That's why Sebastian Gorka is crucially correct when he recommends a national counter-propaganda campaign that involves a 2-part approach. The first part, the bolstering of efforts to define our enemy. So in other words, we're labeling our enemy, but part of our propaganda campaign is to spread this everywhere, to make it known through our own counter-propaganda efforts that jihad is our enemy and what inspires jihad. And second, Gorka recommends that we have to strengthen our allies and partners in their own counter-propaganda efforts. We have many people that are trying to fight jihad, so we have to start empowering them as well and their propaganda efforts. And this involves the empowering of Muslims who are trying to form an anti-jihadist version of Islam. Now, many of you criticize me often for when I bring things like this up and you say, oh, Jamie, you're so naive, or blah, 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 that without jihad, Islam cannot be Islam. There cannot be Islam without jihad. I get you, and there is a very strong argument to be made for that. However, it does not mean that we do not support those Muslims who are trying to create an anti-jihadist vision of Islam. We have to try to empower those people. Step number 6, affirm Sharia's assault on the U.S. Constitution as seditious. This is crazy that it has not been done yet. So, once the truth is accepted, the jihadis are inspired and sanctioned by their Islamic text, it must logically become required that mosques, Islamic schools, and groups have to immediately curtail any teachings that motivate sedition, violence, and hatred of unbelievers. Once the government discerns and labels the elements of Islamic law that threaten the American Constitution, any preaching and spreading of those elements in America must be labeled as seditious. Those are steps 4 to 6. Join us on our next edition of the Jamie Glazov Moment, where I discuss steps 7 to 9 in our third and final part on 9 steps to counter jihad. And I'd just like to announce that this edition of the Jamie Glazov Moment is sponsored by Act for Canada, actforcanada.ca. Brigitte Gabriel has her organization, Act for America, and this is an extension of her organization in the country of Canada, actforcanada.ca, and it is led by my good friend Valerie Price, one of the most beautiful people on the planet, who has given me this wonderful idea of allowing people to sponsor the show, and then we promote what they do and what they're all about, as long as it's good stuff. And you can say that Act for Canada is wonderful stuff indeed. They are fighting for our freedom and defending our civilization. Thank you very much, Valerie Price. And thank you for joining the Jamie Glazov Moment this evening. If you want to support the show, go to jamieglazov.com and make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel of the Glazov Gang. Good night.